Joining us now, the acting consul general of Israel in New York, Aviv Ezra. Mr. Ezra, thank you for being with us today. Let me ask you about some of the reporting in Josh's piece there that Benny Gantz, a member of the war cabinet in Israel, among others, saying if Lebanon cannot stop Hezbollah from firing on northern Israel, then we will take care of that problem ourselves. What should we take that to mean?
Thank you so much for having me, first of all. I think we're, for the last 83 days, are focused mostly on the immediate ramifications of what's happening between Israel and Hamas. But when we zoom out a little bit, we see that surrounding Israel, we have additional proxies. One in the north, as you mentioned, Hezbollah, and this is what actually Minister Gantz is referring to. But also in Yemen, the Houthis that are attacking both Israel and attacking U.S. interests. And of course, the militia, the pro-Iranian militias in Iraq and in Syria that are going both after U.S. Interest and after Israel. So if we zoom out from what we immediately see as the Israel-Hamas war, we see that actually we have a bigger strings that are all attached back to Tehran. And this is what we have been talking about for many years, that Iran actually is behind all of it. And specifically in regards to the Lebanese border, there is a 1701 UN Security Council resolution that specifically requires Hezbollah not to come anywhere south from the Litani border, and we will have the ability, and we have the ability to defend ourselves, God willing, if needed, when they come after us like Hamas did on October 7th.
So, Mr. Ezra, there's been no secret there's been some tension between the Biden administration and the Netanyahu government on how to conduct this war, with the White House urging Israel to try to limit the number of civilian casualties in Gaza. And to be clear, we should take the Gaza Health Ministry's numbers. We cannot take them totally at face value. That's an organization run by Hamas. That said, independent groups like the UN and the World Health Organization say they're pretty close, they believe. So what do you say? What does the government say in response to the accusations from a number of Western countries, including some leaders here in Washington, that Israel is not doing enough to prevent civilian deaths?
So, Jonathan, first of all, in regards to, I think, D.C. and the relationship between the United States and Israel, I think this is the place, of course, to express deep appreciation for the administration, for the ongoing support. And by the way, also the legislative branch, both on the House and the Senate, for Israel's rights for self-defense and Israel's duty for self-defense. I think there's no daylight between Washington and between Jerusalem in regards to the two strategic keys, which is actually eradicating Hamas and, of course, bringing back the hostages. But you're 100% right that if we have no daylight about the what, we do have some different ideas and opinions when it comes to how to do it. I think Israel's interest, and this is what our strategy is, to minimize as much as we can innocent civilian casualties. And on the other side, you have Hamas that actually has the interest to increase even their own civilian casualties, because by that they can create pressure on Israel, and by that achieving the ceasefire. And for us, the ceasefire is actually leaving a lifeline for Hamas to remain in power, and by that continuously threatening Israel, because as they said in their own words, if they have the ability, they will once again and again commit the atrocities of October 7th.
So, Mr. Ezra, behind the scenes, the U.S., it's reported that the Biden administration is pushing for more targeted operations, not because there's a different outcome desired from our government to the Netanyahu government in terms of eradicating Hamas, but this is what they believe to be the most effective way to do it, also by limiting civilian casualties. I don't know that this is just a desire on the administration's part to limit civilian casualties. It's also what they believe, based on their experience with counterterrorism, to be the best way to conduct that kind of counterterrorism against Hamas. How much how much sway does the U.S. have there? How much is the government going to take into account what the Biden administration doesn't just desire, but actually thinks is the best way to conduct this war?
It's a great point, and we are in continuous conversations with our American colleagues, either Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, National Security Advisor. There are certain stages in that military campaign. We are beefing the pressure in the northern front of Gaza and now moving to the central part of Gaza. And lastly, we'll go down to the southern part of Gaza, where Yahya Sinwar, the commitment, the architect of these atrocities, is currently in a subterranean level of tunnels. I think it's very important to finish the second phase in a correct manner, whereas we make sure that Hamas's war machine will be broken to pieces. And then, of course, taking the advice coming from D.C. to move to a more, I would say, counter insurgency kind of strategy like the United States has done, of course, vis-a-vis ISIS, vis-a-vis Al-Qaeda, and any other warfare, urban warfare tragedies.
Mr. Ezra, since you live in New York, you live in the United States, you're aware of how the war is playing here in the United States. Of course, our country stands side by side with Israel, one of its great allies. But you have seen, particularly among young people in this country, and I'm not just talking about the scenes on college campuses over the last couple of months, but if you look at polling, they now, over the last couple of weeks especially, tend to take the side of the Palestinian people, of civilians. They view Israel now as the aggressor. Too many civilians are dying. That puts pressure on our president. That puts pressure on our politicians. They listen. They have to win elections here. So what do you make of the reaction, particularly among young people in the United States, to this war?
So first of all, I think you're 100% right that we have our work cut out for us with a certain ages of 18 to 24. And I know that the polls that you're related to are very dramatic in a sense. But I have to begin by saying that we are deeply appreciative of the ongoing support from the public opinion as a whole, bipartisan, bicameral support that I've seen when I was in Washington, D.C. in the rally, 300,000 people. But what was really amazing is that on the stage, you could see Speaker Johnson with a minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, and next to them you could see Senate Majority Leader Senator Schumer with the leadership of the Republican Party, all of them expressing Israel's right for self-defense and supporting Israel's duty for self-defense. But you're 100% right that we have these challenges with the younger age. We need to do, I think, a better job by educating, not through TikTok, not through 15-second segments, because unfortunately this is slightly more complex than 15-second segments. And I can also tell you one last thing about the demonstrations here in New York. I'm less concerned about the specific demonstrations, but more concerned about the content of what the chants that are there. Actually genocidal chants against the existence of the State of Israel, eradication of the State of Israel. When they're talking about the river to the sea, sometimes the best case scenario is ignorance. They don't know which river, which sea. But sometimes with the worst case scenario, they know what it is and they're calling for a genocide of Israel, which is very, very worrisome. You're 100% right.
And as you say, a lot of that does come off of TikTok. They repeat the chant, and then when you stop and explain what it means, they go, oh, gosh, no, that's not what I meant to say. So some education in order as well. Acting Consul General of Israel in New York, Aviv Ezra, thanks so much. We appreciate your time this morning.